So I went thrifting the other day, or this last week rather, and 2 different days I went to thrift stores. You know, on my days off, what I do is I drive around, and you'll see that I'm going through old downtown Reno once again, and I like the old neon signs that are all around Old Highway 40, which was the main artery to San Francisco, all the way through Nevada. Really cool old highway, and there were motor lodges where people would come in the 50s and late 40s. Women would come to get divorced in Reno, divorce capital of America, more or less. A lot of weddings here too in the old days. But 4th Street is pretty cool, and I like those old neon signs, and there's only one guy left that works on them. So enjoy the ride for thrifting, and I'll see you in a minute. These are the old motor lodges of Reno back in the 50s. They're run down these days, but this is Old Highway 40, the Lincoln Highway, loneliest highway in America, stretches through central Nevada. So here's a really, really old neon sign. And again, the motor lodges of the 40s and the 50s in Reno, Nevada, Old Highway 40. This was the artery to San Francisco, Sacramento, through Nevada to Salt Lake City. And there's only one guy in town that still works on these neons, but they are pretty cool to me. And again, this part of town's pretty run down. This is 4th Street in downtown Reno, Nevada. And these are the old Ferris apartments. That was John Ferris. He was my grandfather's partner in the St. Francis Cafe, downtown Reno in the 1930s, very near the Reno Arch. So this is pretty cool. Spanish, kind of Art Deco, and a very cool old neon. So I will be hitting the thrift stores here pretty soon, but this is kind of fun to reminisce and drive through the old part of downtown Reno, Nevada. This was, at this time, there's a lot of gentrification going on, big time. Downtown is, the buildings are white now. There used to be a lot of glitz and neon. So it's fun to show you the old neon signs of Reno, and I'm going to show you the Reno Arch as well. The old one, actually, by the Truckee River. And going west on 4th Street to downtown over the railroad tracks. There's the bowling stadium where Kingpin was filmed with Bill Murray. Uh-oh, I ran a red light. So it's such a beautiful day, and I just got lunch. And that tower behind there, here's the old Reno Arch. This is from the, oh my gosh, the 40s. And the new one is over on Virginia Street. But that tower behind here, that is the original Harrah's Hotel. Bill Harrah, who built the hotel. In the film The Misfits, it was just Harrah's bingo parlor on the corner. That was around 1960 when Marilyn Monroe, Montgomery Clift did the film, Eli Wallach. And the Truckee River's right over here. In that building under the old Reno Arch is Harrah's Automobile Collection. It's only about a quarter of the size that it used to be, but it's just really terrific to go in there and see all of the old cars. He used to race up and down Mount Rose Highway, and the Nevada Highway Patrol would just let him because he was Mr. Harrah. Great stories. All right, I'm back for the tack, thrifting. Here I go. I think there might be some records here today. And let's see what's in here. It's a beautiful day. Second day of fall. Okay, here they are. Let's see. I think I'm going to start digging right over here. see. Gary Morris. Would you look at that, Captain? And Tennille. Tony Tennille used to come into our restaurant a lot. She's really nice. I'd see her maybe 5-6 times. And she lives here in my region. She was, I believe, in Reno, but I think at North Lake Tahoe originally. Let's see. So far, this isn't too hot. Man, I love me some Roger Miller. That's what really got me into country music as a kid. The later Boss Skaggs records are really good, from 2010, 2005 till recently. Some of the best stuff he ever did. Okay, I'm going to flip them like this. It was getting a little tough. Look at this. Charlie Bird, Barney Kessel, and Herb Ellis. I'm a guitar guy. Strings, piano, jazz, Chet. Love Chet Atkins. And this Barbra Streisand has the great Laura Nyro cover, Stony End. Hubert Laws. And this is in The Shrink. I think I'm going to get this because Charlie Bird is just a phenomenal, fantastic guitarist. Belafonte. And guys, this here, if you ever see this, this is a $1 or $2 record. This is such a good Glenn Campbell live. I have that. Here's Dan. Now, what is it? What Living Stereo? What is this man doing? Oh, wow. Okay, now her, Claudine Longet, that girl is trouble with a capital T. If you don't know the history with Spider Savage, one of my ski racing heroes. There's Sergio. That should be pretty good. I think Lonnie Hall is still on that seminal Christmas album there, right? And Dion. You know, I don't think, of course I really like her because she's covering Burt Bacharach. That was the go-to gal for all the great Hal David, Burt Bacharach songs. And if this was clean, I would get Teensville for Chet Atkins. There's Tony, one of my all-time favorite songs. And look at how clean this Whipped Cream and Other Delights is. Wow, very, very clean. Can't do that. Billy Joel, I have a minty copy of this. I'm good. So I'm down in South Reno, and that's the Atlantis Hotel. It's going to get remodeled. Get a little closer here. And I'm thrifting. I'm over at SPCA for cats and dogs. And let's see here. Here is SPCA thrift shop, and hopefully there's some records in here. So from that hotel I showed you, there's a new casino. It's going to open up. It's going to be big and brand new. Okay, I did find vinyl records back here. And I think, I don't know, I think they're $2 a piece here. Again, this is a really good charity for cats and dogs, SPCA. Look at that Vince Guaraldi. It's kind of rough. There's Babs. Oh my gosh, Larry Coryell. I didn't see this. Love him. Cal Jader. Oh, Jimmy Smith's my favorite. And it looks, speaking of cat, it looks like a cat chewed the edge there. But, gonna check the vinyl. Moe's, unbelievable. getting Mose Allison. Michel Legrand, the soundtrack for Thomas Crown Affair. Okay, let me just flip, and then that looks like a UK press for Fair and Young. There's Tom. Best of Jerry Lee in The Shrink. Oh, Hurt. Now this is interesting. Count Basie. Wow, Brenda Lee. I've never had this one. Check that out. What the heck is this? It's a 12-inch. Wow, Carlos Montoya. I love Segovia Montoya. So you can see how it's pretty hit and miss when you go out there thrifting. You know, I usually have pretty good luck, but I'm really pleased with what I got. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you. And there's a 12-inch single that's just so cool. Hey, good looking. George Clinton. Look at this. You know, George Clinton was from Plainfield, New Jersey. He early on formed a doo-wop group, kind of, well, inspired by Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. And, you know, of course, he was in Parliament, Funkadelic. And what was so cool about those two groups? And Robert, the manager, I met him in the mid-'70s, managed also Rare Earth, besides Parliament and Funkadelic. My cousin knew Robert very well in Las Vegas. But, you know, there was so much, they were very Hendrixy. I mean, Sly and the Family Stone influence, Frank Zappa and James Brown. I mean, what a combination. And this is a nice 12-inch to have. Now, that very last thrift store, I only took one record. The Cal Jaders, the vinyl was just beat up, but there was one primo record, and guys, that's Mose Allison. And Mose is from Mississippi, and if you don't like jazz, you're probably going to like Mose Allison because he does covers like Seventh Son, Parchment Farm, the old Buka White tune that was written in 1940. Bonnie Raitt covered a great Mose Allison tune called Everybody's Crying Mercy, and that's from Taking My Time from either 1972 or 71. One of my favorite Bonnie Raitt albums, but this is nice. And this has new Parchment on here, and track 1 on side 2 is Rolling Stone. And next up, a record that, I mean, this is jazz fusion, straight up. I mean, Chick Corea, bam, Stanley Clarke. And he was, him and Chick Corea, founding members of Return to Forever, and really one of the very first jazz fusion groups of the early 70s, of when the genre really started. And Stanley is from Philadelphia, PA, man. So many great entertainers, comedians, celebrities from Philly. And this Modern Man is a really, really great album. Jeff Beck is on this one. And not too long ago, I think I showed this one, but School Days is so good as well. So I've been listening to these two Stanley Clarke albums, really, really enjoying it. And next up, this is just an artist I really, really love. So much fun. I mean, he does arpeggios with his voice, scat singing, improving, vocal percussion, and that is, yes, Bobby McFerrin. And Don't Worry, Be Happy on here. I really like Drive My Car and Good Lovin'. Susie Q. This, I mean, what? I think he won a Grammy or whatever for this. The whole album. Look at the back cover and look at the hype here. Oh, I think it says it right there. All of his awards. But Bobby's from New York City, born in Manhattan. And his father was a great baritone operatic singer. And his father was one of the first African-American singers to perform at the Met. I mean, that's huge. So, wow, 5-time Grammy winner. I usually don't mention stuff like that, but Bobby McFerrin, this is the one. Such a great artist. And something that I think about often, you know, all my thrifting, all these videos, all these different genres that I'm into, often it's because I just have a great appreciation for the players. It doesn't even matter if I don't like the band that much. I just, for what they've accomplished, their talent and technique as guitarists, pianists, whatever, is just really something. I mean, learning the craft of an instrument or multiple instruments is such a lifelong and committed endeavor that you have to appreciate. I mean, sacrifices along the way, you know, and that's why thrifting, it just opens up a lot of different, you know, I'll see this artist or that artist or just different things. So next up is a guitarist that I've really been listening to more and more lately, and that's the great, great Charlie Byrd. And this is Brazilian Bird. This is in the Shrink. And a lot of these records, guys, I got for 89 cents or $2 a piece. And I always mention that because I like to give you the idea that, you know, I get a lot of comments and folks say, look, I just don't find anything out there. If you put a little effort into it, you're probably going to strike gold and get some good records. But you got to put some effort into it. And that's why I always mention price, because I want you to see that you can get great vinyl, near mint, VG++, sometimes sealed records for cheap. And, you know, it's just such a rush. It's so much fun and great to listen to. So Charlie Byrd, not Brazilian, he's from Virginia. And his work with Stan Getz on jazz samba really brought bossa nova into the mainstream in North America, US and Canada. And then at Salvation Army, I found this one, and this is really one of my favorite finds because I've been watching Charlie Byrd, Barney Kessel, and Herb Ellis from 1984 on YouTube. They call it Great Guitars. And this one is from the Concord Jazz Festival. That's in Concord, California, Northern California, East Bay, next to Walnut Creek, San Ramon, Danville. And the festival's been going on for 50 years. Just really terrific. I would love to go out there sometime. But it really represents West Coast jazz, but not just West Coast jazz artists. Everybody's played there. And I think they celebrated their 50th anniversary at Concord Jazz Festival in 2019. Now here's a record I'm just not going to leave behind this clean. And this is the great late Tony Bennett. And I Left My Heart in San Francisco. This song was written in 1953 by George Corey and Douglas Cross, two guys from Northern California. They were missing the West Coast after World War II, having served in the military. They moved to New York City, and they wrote this song because they were just homesick. And later on, Ralph Sharon, the great musical director for Tony Bennett, picked up the song and told Tony, this is going to be a good one. And there was a 1962 New Year's Eve gala at the Fairmont Hotel. That's on Mason Street, Nob Hill. And Tony performed it, and that's where it all started for I Left My Heart in San Francisco. One of my all-time favorite songs. I'd say top 50 easily. And these next records are from Gabriel from Spectre Records, the newest vinyl record channel in my region in Reno and Sparks. And I went over there. He's getting ready to open Spectre Records in 400 square feet on Virginia 1st Street, downtown Reno. And he was kind enough to sell me some albums. And I won't tell you the price on this. It was very, very fair. And this one was just too cool. This is from 1957, the year I was born. And this is About the Blues, Julie London. Barney Kessel is on this one. This is just wonderful to have. And it is in a MoFi sleeve. And this is in near mint condition. For Julie London, 1957, About the Blues. And then for some reason, for the longest time, I've never been able to find this Go-Go's album. And this is Vacation. So this is really Really, really fun to have. And I really like their cover of Cool Jerk on here. I really do. So just great to have this. And then I'm really into Martin Denny, big time. And I didn't have this one. I have about 6 or 7 Martin Denny records, but just about everything's on here. And this is the Golden Greats on Liberty for Martin Denny. And if you didn't know, he's from Oahu. He's from Hawaii. And he really set the stage for so many great, I often mention Kalapana, Seawind, Liz Damon, Orient Express, a lot of bands that were heavily influenced by Martin Denny in Honolulu, Waikiki, on Oahu. And then here's the band. Such an underrated record, unbelievably underrated. And people pass it by. And now, because there just isn't, there's only so much the band material, that's Islands. And just alone, here, let me show you the cover here. Richard Manuel's vocal on Right as Rain is just captivating. Now, 2 records to go. This was unbelievable. I have not been able to find this record, and Gabriel had it, and he says, hey, I have a first press with the nice cover. This one was so clean. I says, do you mind if I buy this? This is Wheels of Fire, cream. And this is on the yellow Atco. I just didn't have this. I have Disraeli Gears. I have the live albums. But I'm just completely pleased to have Wheels of Fire. There we go. And it's on the yellow Atco. And the original inserts are in here. Love these. And simply on the yellow Atco. Loving this. I spun this once, and I'm just thrilled to have it. Now, here's a record I never thought, I wasn't really looking for it. And, people show it a lot, and I've heard about it. This is from 1968. This is The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Look at this. Look at that cover. This is a beauty. So I'm, really diving into this. I just never really listened to it. Of course, the big song, of course, right? But I'm just loving this. Put a Spell on You is cool too. Let me show you. And this is on, here, I'll show you here. On this label right here. And, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you next week at Bill's Garage. All right.